Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Good evening to you. Thank you all for joining us on a Friday night sip and chat with Relationship Flow with Doc and myself. And how you doing, Doc?
I'm good, Mary. I'm good. I'm battling something, but I think it's just allergies. You know, ever since I developed allergies in my 30s, it just seems like it's ever evolving kind of thing.
Right.
Because I wasn't used to them. I don't know how they present, and it just seems like it changes.
It does. It does.
Yeah. So it's
So
just trying to figure out when I'm having allergies, when it might be something else.
yeah, yeah. So welcome to the allergy family. I've always had allergies. And I was laughing at it because I had to get acclimated that it was just going to be something all year round for me. So it's not
Mm,
just it's not just something that happens in a season. For me, I'm all year
mm,
round, and I just have to kind of you end up learning the triggers.
mm.
You end up
Okay.
learning the triggers if you have to live with them that long. But then on the
Mm-hmm.
reverse side of knowing that since 30, and of course I just had a birthday, um, is when I became allergic to shellfish.
Mm.
So I can no longer have shellfish.
Oh, that would have been a no go for me. They're like me and my body would have been fighting. Like, we gotta
We gotta
eat
have
it,
another
take some
conversation.
Benadryl, we gotta do something.
I get it. I get it. I mean, but then that's also when I learned what was the contributing factors to cancer, which is in seafood. So then I was just like, okay,
Okay. All right.
we're just gonna clear out all of that all together at the same time. There we go, bang it out.
Mm. Man.
Right. That's
Yeah, I
what
don't.
everybody says when I tell them. They were like, "What? No seafood?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yes. Yes.
Only thing that I will dance with and play with is frozen shrimp. If it's fresh,
Okay.
then no. But
Okay.
frozen, I will do that. I didn't try frozen with anything else. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I've had some interesting uh, hypotheses from
Mhm,
doctors.
mhm,
I
mhm.
even had one doctor tell me, "Oh, you're allergic to Christmas trees." Like, what? What
But
kind of sense does that make? But it was
well,
around Christmas time, and I was having all these symptoms. So I'm like, okay. But
they just created that when what was new in the house.
yes,
As
yes.
from practitioner to practitioner, you know how that happens sometimes.
Of course, of
The
course.
I think I had an interview somewhere and they offered me a frozen coffee that I
Hmm.
didn't accept going into the interview, but when I came out, I was like, sure, it's a hot day. And then driving from Delaware County up 476 back up to the Oak Lanes, the reaction that I had, that the only thing I had different was this frozen coffee. I was like, okay, I need to go get tested. So that's when I went and had where they put all of the needles and stuff
Hmm.
in. And the things that they said I was allergic to, it was just like, okay, wow, y'all really got time on y'all hands
Hmm.
to figure
Hmm.
this stuff.
Okay, I lost Mary. So when she comes back, we will. There she
Get that
is.
no more. Yes, I
Mhm.
won't touch that while I'm talking no more. I don't even know what part I got cut off at, but yeah, I won't touch no buttons while I'm talking no more.
Yeah, you were talking about the many things that they found that you were allergic to.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, who just wakes up at 30 and this is what it is? Like,
Hmm.
who decided
Yeah.
that?
One of the interesting things for me is they found that some of it was hormonal. So I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, okay, so I'm allergic to myself.
And then there's that.
I'm like, oh wow, that's a thing.
That is a thing. And I'm a
Mhm.
cat lover. At least I
Mhm.
was a cat and animal lover. However, I learned in that whole process that I can't have animals because of the dander. I know we talked
Okay.
about this because of your lovely cat.
Yeah, my little putty.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, so that was the game changer for me and not having animals of my own, which would have been a cat
Mm.
because the dogs, I don't want my life to be altered by when I gotta come home.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
It's very demanding
It
when you have
is.
a pup.
Right, 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 right. I was about to
Yeah.
touch that keyboard again. Let me leave it alone.
Leave that keyboard alone.
I'm having an OCD moment with it, but I'm gonna have to just let it live throughout this episode. Um,
Mm-mm.
what we sipping on since the allergies is tripping?
I'm sipping on water. I was thinking about having a glass of wine all day. It's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna have a nice glass of wine. And then
Right.
I said to myself, do I want to take a Benadryl later? So that I
See,
can
that be
sleep
the real
comfortably.
question.
So that means no alcohol.
Right, 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 right.
Yes.
I got my cruising cute little jar, but
Okay.
it's an orange tea, like a
Okay.
Turkey Hill orange tea.
Okay.
Something just to
Yeah.
keep me hydrated. Because as I was sharing while we were in the green room, this is the first day that I kind of feel somewhat normal.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhat
Yeah, I'm glad you're feeling
normal.
better.
Yeah, because last week I don't even know how I did the show. Like for real, for
Mm.
real.
Hey, Neil.
Hey Ruth.
Mm-hmm.
Ruth be getting it in. Ruth, what you sipping on? What you got going on? You probably got no sips because you in mommy mode, making sure mommy is all right. Um, so Doc, it looks like it's just you and I don't, I didn't get no memos.
Okay. I didn't either.
So, um, we shared how we're doing, and I guess it goes into the current events. But I guess, like, I don't know, but like, what's the current
Mm.
events on your side of the fence?
As we were talking about in the green room, and this is so terrible. I'm struggling to find some positive ones.
Right? How about
You
that?
know, most of the stuff that's presented is the same, bad, same bad stuff. Somebody got shot,
Hmm.
somebody got COVID,
Hmm.
you know.
Somebody
I
got a fine for COVID.
uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes. Yeah,
One.
so it's no, I haven't really heard anything recent that I want to talk about.
Right.
You
So
know?
I guess it's just two, well, actually three things that I could think about, but I don't really know the whole story of it, but I'll share the
Okay.
whole Barbados, getting their independence from the British rule, and having
Okay.
some independency, which I'm sure can help the economy in so many different ways. But it's still a lot of colonizing that is going on. Which, when I say colonizing, I guess that's the nice way of the enslavement that still happens. Although there is a high tourism, there is still a lot of colonized ways that they have to kind of rewrite, revise, see how it's going to
Mm-hmm.
work in their communities. And then I guess Rihanna got some kind of award amidst all of this. So people were excited
Mm.
around that. But I can't really tell you what that award was. And I should, because I love Barbados.
Yes. Yes, one of my favorite places. I went there
Oh,
for the first time. I think that was 2019. Yeah,
mm-hmm,
no, 2018.
mm-hmm.
November 2018 for a dear friend's birthday celebration. It
Okay.
was a group of us and we had a wonderful time. And I loved it so much. I went back
Mm-hmm,
in August for my birthday.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like this. I love Barbados. Saint Martin is my spot.
It's your spot, right?
That's my spot. But I was like, I could see this being in the running.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Barbados is nice. I think the first time I went, no, that was the second time. I went for my birthday. And of course, it's warm and wonderful. And I got introduced to the Bayesian fish and the fish fry on Fridays.
Oh yes,
Oh my
yes.
gosh, all of that was so phenomenal. Then the second time I went, I believe it was my birthday again, but we end up going from having 4 people on the trip to like 15 people
Mm.
on the trip. So we didn't all know each other, and we definitely all had different lifestyles,
Mm-hmm.
which caused the separation between church and state, like on the first day.
Oh
But
wow.
yeah, but I still had a great time because Barbados is
Good.
Barbados. But
Yes,
yeah, it was
yes.
just like, okay, I don't know y'all. Y'all stay over there.
You are not gonna ruin my
You're
fun,
not
right?
gonna ruin my trip. That's when I learned that karaoke was carrying your own key. And yeah, we had a great time. We had a great time. I think I went a time after that as well. So 3 times
Mm-hmm.
all together. And it's a place that I would go back for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For
Mm-hmm.
sure.
It is.
I need
It
to check
is
my
in the
passport
running
to
for.
see how many times I went. I think it's 3.
Yes, for me, it is in the running of where I want to build my retirement home.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
St. Martin was the spot. That was just it. It was like, yeah, I'm going to St. Martin, and that's where I will be spending probably 7, 8 months out of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got to Barbados, I was like,
Let me rethink that. Let me rethink that.
yes, yes, love it,
So
love
the
it.
other
All right, so okay, go ahead.
news event that I hear people buzzing about and not sure of their comfort level, and it kind of goes into our topic a little bit. We could probably pull it back in later. Is Will Smith and his book?
Oh, he has a book.
What? You've been under a rock with the grandkids? He has a book that was released at the same time or similar time to the movie of him being
What
king.
movie? I'm sorry.
Usually that's me. It's like, okay, I gotta pull some strings today so I can have something. I'm glad I did, because you like, what movie? The Venus and Serena movie about the dad.
Ah,
Venus
oh,
playing the
okay.
dad. Okay.
All right now.
He said, stop it, Doc. So going back to this book, he's written his memoir of all of his experiences from childhood through stardom to his life now. And it is unveiling to a lot of the mental health aspects that he's dealt with. I haven't read the book. I'm going solely on videos. So if anybody's saying, well, that didn't say that, I'm going solely on videos and stuff that I've seen.
Okay.
So he's kind of unveiled some of his experiences with mental health, his
Mm,
battles with his weight and stuff like this, like the vision of him that we don't see.
okay.
And some people are saying that he's sharing too much,
Mm,
because he shared a chapter where he was reading with his children, where they were hearing some of his thoughts or insights, about them for the first time. And it was a space to review what he had wrote, and for them to say, yeah, Dad, don't put that, or wow, Dad, was that really going on? Which I thought was
mm-hmm.
great from a family therapist perspective.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but some people are like, he's telling too much. And I'm like, I don't I don't know if I could say he's telling too much, but the reason people are uncomfortable is because they want to see him only the way they want to see him, and they don't want to see the reality, which is what people deal with on a day-to-day basis in life already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some people don't like their image destroyed.
Right. Right. And it doesn't have to be destroyed, but the stigma that comes with it, because in
Mm-hmm.
one of the articles that one of our followers usually chimes in, Tanya, she posted around, I guess it's like I forgot the 2 other actors that's up at his quality level with him. They don't share any of their personal stuff. Like, they keep the image, but then yet when stuff cracks, like when their glass cracks, then it's
Mm-hmm.
like they go into a tizzy, where he's demystifying all of that. And I think that that part about it is phenomenal. It's probably some stuff that I don't have to know, but I still think that it's phenomenal nonetheless.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna need
I
you to.
think isn't that one of the things that him and his wife try to show in their family, that they are open books?
Well, see, yeah, they do, especially with the red table talks.
I've
I
never watched that, so I don't even know what.
I have stopped after he invited himself to the table. I think I
Okay.
watched that conversation, and then since then I haven't watched any further.
Okay.
Before then, I thought that it was a nice unveiling and way to have like real talk conversations. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but he like in the things that I've seen, I haven't seen him kind of highlight her because I
Okay.
think that she puts herself on a stage, already enough that
Mm-hmm.
he's like trying not so much to be on the stage, but just trying to highlight some very important parts about being a father, about being a Black man, and being in the spotlight the way that he is. It seems as if um I'm not of this world either, Ruth. I did real good homework to try to figure out have a contribution of this week, but it seemed like Doc is in a rock.
You know what? One of the things I intentionally stay away from sometimes is the celebrity stuff,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it's someone who is acting in a role of counselor, advisor. I kind of stay away from that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
like when Steve Harvey wrote his relationship book, I
You
was
didn't
like,
write that book, Doc. Don't do that.
I mean, all right, you know, I
He's
know
a
that.
ghostwriter. He didn't write that book.
I know
What
that. But
somebody
when
like
he
you or
put it
I
out
wrote that book
there,
and put
right?
his name on it so it would sell.
When he put it out there, you know, and
I'm
people were
sorry.
like taking his advice and everything, I was like, okay, all right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I didn't read his book. I didn't see the movie.
Right.
No, it's like, so that it's sometimes it's intentional. Other times it's just me focusing on other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, seminars where people are authorities on things, real authorities on
Real
things.
authorities. Yes. They got receipts for them being an authorityship. Yes.
Yes, yes. And don't get me wrong, experience is a great teacher.
True.
Experience is fine, but it doesn't always translate to you quote unquote helping someone else.
Oh, I just thought of so many celebrities that would apply to the way you said that. Because I definitely agree in the labels of someone being a celebrity and how they get manipulated, I guess, if you will,
Hmm.
into taking a certain stance. And to me, I don't see Jada being that way.
Okay.
It feels like, at least at this stage, that Will is being very genuine and authentic and not really trying to use his stardom to kind of sway somebody. Like, the Steve Harvey book was like to sway. You got this 90-day rule, you got this, you got that.
Hmm.
It doesn't seem like it's trying to sway. It just says that being transparent is okay.
Okay.
That's my take.
Okay.
So I don't know. I could be wrong. Um, yeah. So I just take it at that. But anybody else, like I said, the blue book. I think I have the blue book. That's a shame because I think it's right here.
What's that?
This Steve Harvey book. I've never read it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like because I know he didn't write it.
Mm.
He got so much dust on this book. That's a shame.
Hey,
Um,
I like to read the books where they're, you know, actually talking about their lives, where you're an authority on your life.
you are,
I can read that.
you are,
Yeah.
well, and that's what he does. But it's
Mhm.
a lot of quick little YouTube clips too. That
Okay.
that's where I got my information. Is looking at a
Okay.
couple of the YouTube clips, and of course, you start with one, the lovely friends at Google think that you want to see all of them, so they drop them onto your phone.
Yes.
Yes, and they make sure that you get some kind of some kind of context of, oh, you like this, huh? Wow, look at he just pop in and come right on in like that. Like that's how you do.
That's how I do it.
Right? How he do that?
I don't know how he did that because my hands is not on the screen.
I got juice over here.
You got juice.
I just popped in.
Okay.
We thank you for your consistency in popping up.
Hey, listen, I try to be consistent. What I mean?
We're doing current events and we're talking about
Oh,
celebrities not being the authority in a space unless it's authority over their life when they're talking about different events. More specifically, I don't know what we're comparing it to, but we're talking about Will Smith and his book. Yeah, I'm not going to say the other person because I don't know what we were comparing. I just happen to have the dust.
No, we weren't.
so from what aspect? What was he?
So the aspect of it being a news event that's positive. You got a message from Ruth, aka Neil. Can you see it?
I don't know what we means. We don't start till I get here.
He saw it. But we were just talking about Will and his memoir, bringing highlights to like mental health, body, shame and so forth, and then like his mental health from the aspect of his life, like what he's experienced from childhood, being a father, being a husband, being an actor, and he's taken away the mystery of being a celebrity, that you have these experiences as well.
Got you. Okay. Which is I think it's good, right?
I think Doc hasn't heard of the book, so or is aware of anything that's happening in December of 2021.
That comes from not wanting to watch, the news, maybe.
I get
it's
it.
always bad, so I'm missing out, and I'm not driving anywhere, so I'm not listening to the radio.
But you know what? I don't listen to public radio anymore because I have XM radio.
Okay.
Thank you, Colleen. Thanks for dropping in.
Yes, I'm missing some stuff.
But Doc, like, you don't listen to none of the music apps or anything?
No, I actually don't.
Okay.
And if I want to listen to music, I will say, "Hey, Alexa, play so and so for me."
that good old Alexa.
And I can hear whatever it is I want to hear without all the other stuff.
Right.
Well, we see Daryl is in his car driving from somewhere. Not sure which vehicle this one is. It looks like the big one.
Yeah, this is the big one.
So I had to unplug Alexa today because it was coming on by itself. Very strange. I was upstairs minding my own business in the house by myself and heard music downstairs. Like, somebody in the house. Hello?
This is why I don't play with Alexa.
They want to hear something.
Alexa said it's too quiet down here. We need to have a party going on.
I guess. And when I said Alexa stop, it would not stop.
Oh, it was Alexa then. She wanted to hear something too.
Strangest thing. Very strange. It's like I have to unplug you. And if you come back on after I unplug you, I'm leaving. So you can have it. You can have it.
Come back on after I unplug you.
That's right. I'm not trying to figure it out.
Yeah, the house is not yours anymore.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't have any Alexa products. So my brother was joking with me, I guess the other day, Tuesday, because I got my car fixed, and he was like, "Oh, wait until your car has Alexa in it." And I said, "What?" Yeah, no, I don't want Alexa in my life. I don't subscribe to her.
Yes, Neil, very disrespectful. Very disrespectful.
And I've watched my sister-in-law like have those disrespectful type conversations with Alexa not turning on her 80s on 8, because that sounds like that was one of her favorite stations. 80s on 8. So Darrell,
Yes.
do you have any positive current events that you would like to share?
Beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Oh my God.
That's positive.
That is positive. Should we send you our wish list for Christmas?
Oh yes.
Because you like to buy nice, expensive gifts.
I do?
Yeah, and we've been in your life a long time, and we've seen some of these expensive things that you like to share with other people.
If you're 8?
Huh?
If you're 8.
If you're 8.
That's okay. We can adapt it to whatever number it is that we are.
Okay.
So shall we send you our list, and Ruth as well? Ruth can send her list too.
If you're 8 years old, you can send me whatever you need. I got you.
It's an 8 divided by my number. I mean, since you mentioned Christmas.
Yes. But now, good news. I don't know the good news really. I'm like Doc. I don't really watch much. I listen to it.
Here comes some news event. I know she got news events. She always got news events.
Mm-hmm. Well, the one thing I just saw is that Macy's is closing their stores. They're closing 10 stores in January, and then they're closing 50 more by 2023.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, I know some people who really like Macy's. What'd you say, Daryl?
There's some more of that good news.
So is it just in certain states that they're closing, or
that's what I was about to ask?
Or is it like everywhere?
Well, it says that they are closing 10 stores in January. The exact locations will be announced next month.
Gotcha.
So they'll let us know which ones they're closing. But then it says the remaining 50 stores will close by 2023. So are they saying that? Okay, they are saying that is part of 60 in total. Macy's plan to close.
So that means that they're allowing, as being a big box store, they're allowing Amazon to come in and take over where they have existed for a long time as a staple. That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Is the question, are they allowing, or is Amazon just kind of upon us?
Bulldozing?
Yeah, right.
I mean, Amazon is kind of taking over mental health. It's taking over pharmacy. It's taking over housewares, clothing. I don't know how they're gonna do mental health successfully.
Me either. I don't understand that.
Yeah,
but you know, you could buy a house on Amazon.
You can.
You can.
If Amazon is going to do mental health, they better start in their plantations.
Every time I see a big building being built, I'm like, oh, is that Amazon?
Is that Amazon?
Target, because Target has those big plantations as well.
Yeah,
they do.
True.
Hey, Camp.
Hi.
Hey, Camp.
How
you doing?
Feeling a little bit better.
Okay, good. Okay.
Do you have any current events for us? With your deep voice? You got a deep voice.
Me? I do.
You do.
Oh. Everything in the news everything is like so negative or not. You just sad. So.
Well, Daryl said that we could send him our Christmas gift right before he came.
What you saying? What?
He said we could send him our Christmas gift right before you came on. He said
our Christmas list.
Your Christmas list. You just have to tell him what your number is divided by 8.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't really have a Christmas list, but okay.
I don't either, but I can make up one. I mean, mine is kind of big, so he probably will say no. I just want to go to Costa Rica. That's it.
I was thinking about getting you Same thing I got you last year, but bigger.
Is that nothing?
Yeah, a whole cup of nothing. A whole cup of nothing.
Eat without the cup.
You said what?
The cup.
A cup?
You said a whole cup of nothing.
Without the cup. I think that's what he said. Okay.
So that's equals to still nothing.
Right.
Well,
That's like evaporated air.
Well, you try to add a cup to it. Like, so you trying to get something.
Girl, I thought differently of you. I can't even get like a picture of Costa Rica. Like, because when you text me and you ask me where I'm at and I say, oh, I'm in Costa Rica, you're going to be like, I'm trying to get to where you're at.
Right.
Doc, don't that sound like a way he could get there? Like, I'm just, all right. I'll leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. Apparently, I have to make my own way. Okay, so I'm guessing camp doesn't have any current events to contribute. Daryl is in the dark, passing these street lights in the background. And I guess it's time for our conversation for the week.
Okay.
So we came up with a couple different things, but it all kind of fell under this support versus codependency in your relationship. Like, who hurt you and how does it influence like what you're doing in your day-to-day relationships and in life? So I guess first is understanding the differences between support versus codependency in a relationship.
Yes.
Where we want to go with that?
I guess we could start with talking about what's healthy. What's included in a healthy relationship? What are some of the things, that show that you're offering healthy support?
When you add the word healthy before the word support, it changes the dynamic of the word support. Because I think what makes support is one thing, but then how you live it on a day-to-day basis determines if it's healthy or if you're crossing boundaries or like all that other stuff.
Very true.
We put healthy before anything, like, oh, it's a healthy workout with Daryl, but then you see him jumping up into the ceiling. You're like, okay, what is the healthy part about him jumping up into the ceiling? And how much work do I have to do to get to this jumping up in the ceiling that's gonna make me healthy, or is it anything else before that I can say is a healthy move? Because just showing up apparently is not enough.
I mean, when I just think of support in a lot of our families, the first thing that pops into my head are enablers. Not saying support is support, but like you said, Mary, saying healthy totally changes the game. I just think of I just always thought of enablers or trauma-based support. Whatever benefits the person that's supposed to, I feel like support doesn't always benefit the person it's supposed to be benefiting in a lot of ways. So that's why we say healthy. That's a brand new horizon for me. So how does that look? Like, literally, how does healthy support look?
Because I don't think you hear the word healthy support until you're in a situation like therapy or at the doctor's or somewhere that is around wellness that is saying, okay, this is what you need to do to have a healthy pregnancy or a healthy recovery or, like something like that. But before then, it's like, okay, why are you not supporting me? And support looks different. Keep saying that.
Yeah, because sometimes people think that support means you don't have your own emotions and your own reactions and processes. When someone asks for support, It's important to be specific, or you ask them specifically what they need.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you're offering may not be what they need,
Mm-hmm.
and
Or
it
they
may
may
not be
not
it
see
might
it
not
as
be healthy.
support. They may not.
Huh?
They may not actually see what it is that you have capacity to offer as being support. And it might be that at your capacity, like what your bandwidth is, what you can handle is support, but that's what you have to offer.
Yes.
But they want that beyond that, and then that's when
Mm-hmm.
it becomes
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
not
Yeah,
so good.
and I think you're right. A lot of people mistake those codependent kind of behaviors for support. So if you're not doing those things, you're not thinking like me and doing things exactly the way I want you to do them. And if you're not taking on responsibility for my happiness, then you're not supporting me.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So how did you move away from that to show the person you are supporting them in a healthy way?
Asking them what is it that they really need. Like, do they know what it is that they need? Or
Most
can
people
they
don't.
give a description of what that looks like? Because if they don't give a description, it's going to stay arbitrary. Like the word support can be very, very case by case scenario.
Mhm. It's like if somebody is, saying they're stressing because they have this bill or that bill, and then they have all these other things, and you give them money, but they're still stressing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's not what they needed.
Right.
Right.
You gave them the money. I gave you support,
Mm-hmm. Because
But
that's what you
but
heard that they
because
needed.
that's
But
what
that
you
wasn't.
heard.
but
Yes.
is that really support? Because support sometimes, like I said, people don't know what they want. So you may be supporting them, but they may not see it as support.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm saying you need to go to drug rehab and trying to get you to go to drug rehab, you may not feel like supporting you.
Mm-hmm.
That is support. Support isn't always about what they want. It may be
Mm-hmm.
what they need. And I know.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first thing that comes to mind, I guess, because most of the time I'm like in an entrepreneurship type thought process, is that if somebody's having an event, they think that the only support is you buying an actual ticket.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not actually true.
No.
Like, or somebody wrote a book, they think that the only way that you're showing support is that you actually bought the book.
Mm-hmm.
But it could just be that you shared whatever in your network. And again, that
Absolutely.
being your capacity of
Yes.
support, because you
Yeah.
don't know who sees it in their network, versus if you still got a whole bunch of books to sell, that wasn't what they were supposed to do. You need to do something different with your marketing plan so that you can get rid of those stack of books and show where the interest is and how it works for them. But I'm just using a book because that's something tangible that I hear the conversation. Ain't nobody buying this book. Well, do they know why the book is going to be a benefit to them? They know what the $25 is going to be a benefit to you, but do they know what the benefit is or reasons why they need that? And so like that becomes a conversation of none of my friends, none of my colleagues support what it is that I'm doing. And it's like, does it speak to them, or do you want them to just share it in their network so that it can speak to those it speak to? And they can never show up.
Right.
I find a lot of times the support for the people who are expected or who are given the support to others. Sometimes it comes with boundaries or oversteps, or there's a lot of
Definitely
inconveniences at
overstep.
times. Boundaries overstep and inconveniences to the person who's supposed to be providing the support. So even if you are, it's kind of like how can it be balanced to where not the support given to the other side? No, how can it be balanced to where both sides understand that there are certain boundaries, there are some things that doesn't need to be crossed. I'm here to support you, but I'm not here to upend my life as well, just to make something happen in yours.
Right. Right. And one of my I guess business colleague groups or whatever, someone was excited about doing well on their product that they provide. And the one thing that and they do post often, but one of the things that they were highlighting was a friend of theirs from college or fraternity, whatever, they were able to pay their rent and their utility bills, and it wasn't at a harm to them. Meaning, like, because they had did so well in their business, it wasn't a hardship to show support to that individual who was sick. And so then therefore he felt like, that was the support that was beneficial to the person at that time. Whereas a lot of times when people offer, say something like said financial support, they're usually sacrificing or pulling from, their family in order to provide that support. And people don't always see that way. They see it as, oh, well, you got an abundance, so you could just share. And no. Oh, shoot. That's why we got to be 8 years old to get a gift for Christmas, because apparently we have abundance if we're over 8, according to Daryl. Don't give me the head nod. I can see you now. What's our thoughts?
Well, I think, when you're in a healthy relationship, you're individuated.
Do people know what individuated is, Doc?
Right, I love the word, but
meaning
I get it.
Meaning you're your own person. You have your own thoughts and your own values. You have boundaries. You're an individual, and it's not. I was going to say in sync, but that's not the right word. It's not interwoven with someone else. And I think that's important to remember, because oftentimes, especially in romantic relationships, people have this idea of we must become one. Meaning we think the same, we do things the same, we walk alike, we talk alike.
Right.
We dress alike.
Oh, goodness. That whole dress alike thing, I thought that was an age thing. Is that Daryl and his static?
That's Daryl.
How was it me? I'm so
He's a likely person to blame, I guess.
We can't even hear you now over the static.
Okay. All right, Ruth, I muted him so we don't hear the static. So you got to let us know when you want to talk again, since you want your lean back driving. And now I don't even know what I was getting ready to say. What were we saying?
You said the dress thing. You thought it was age or age
I thought
thing.
it was an age specific thing, like as far as people who people who are like, of a certain wisdom years, that they do this whole matching outfit thing. But I am learning. I have a colleague who has twins, and so she not only dresses the twins, but her and her partner. So every time that they go to the beach or out somewhere, they're all wearing the same print. I'll say it that way.
Okay.
Correct.
And they are not they're probably like Camp's age.
Okay.
Wow,
That's what they like.
Surprising. That's what they like. That's a different type of support. Or is the one partner just going with it, and it's like a codependency, because if they don't go with it, then it's going to be another scenario.
Right. Well, sometimes when they don't go with it, one spouse is a problem, or the partner. And when they come to an event and they're not dressed alike, everybody like, if you're used to it, if you've been saying this for 10 years or more, you're like, y'all not dressed, y'all didn't coordinate. Right. And then a lot of times when they don't coordinate, there's issues that have not been talked about underlying the dressing alike.
Communicating. So
something is not right in the relationship. or the marriage or something that's going awry.
Because that
So
support
that's
is
a
looking
telltale
different.
sign.
That's
And
that's
sometimes one
funny.
partner gets tired of holding the other one up. Like sometimes, if you always have to be the strong one, you're tired.
See, so someone, and I have to say, Lloyd, thank you for your contribution to this conversation. But I think you do live with the wisdom years on the other side where it was kind of more normalized, like, and bringing unity and bridging, like, different relationships. But I thought that it stopped at a certain number. And maybe it hasn't, or maybe it's like a gap of a certain group of people who just don't do it, and then others who do. But I can see unity, but I can also
Yeah.
see I'm not sure what you're saying no to, Lloyd. But I can see it being, you could also, like what Camp is saying, a breakdown in their communication can be visible if they're not matching.
Like y'all must be mad at each other. Y'all not mad.
Right. Right.
Uh-huh.
I have
Yeah.
friends like that. It's very apparent. But then if I was to go somewhere and match with my husband, they be like, y'all matching? And I'm like, sometimes I like my individuality, or I'm
Absolutely.
individuated, like Doc would say.
Individuated. Camp, I would
But
see
it's
that
been
you think
times, yeah,
you
go
always
ahead.
want to be individuated.
Well, it's just been times where I'm like, what are you wearing? So I make sure I wear a different color. And then he changes clothes. And I'm like, no, we're not. But then it's too late because if I change again, will we be late? I'm like, no, we just can't. Why are we wearing the same color? Sometimes it's okay, but it's not on purpose.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
where it's just like,
And Lloyd
and
is
it,
saying that it's not age related, but he's laughing at you for you don't want to be matching the times.
well, sometimes I think when then people get this idea like, oh, y'all must have somewhere to really go. Why y'all matching? Y'all finally trying to do something together. We do stuff together all the time. It's just I like to be dressed and individuated, like different. That's all.
I see this word individuated being on an upcoming post from Camp.
Yes, it will be. I think so.
And
That's
so
like a
when
big
she get the
word.
right thing that she wants to say, she
Yes.
gonna pop out
Yes.
with I am individuated today because
Separation and individuation is important when you raise your children.
right,
But
right.
you can still be. But you can still be one when you
Yes.
with your partner. When you marry, just whatever.
Right, right. I don't know that I've ever, okay, I can't say that. Color themes are important, but not necessarily that we're matching.
Okay.
Like complementary colors, I would say is a support
Okay. Yeah.
of just being a support, not necessarily being reframed as codependent in any way. It's just for this particular event, But I don't like an
Like
event
a
to
white
tell me.
party.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, but I don't
Like a
know if I
white
like an
party,
event to tell
or
me what I have to wear. I like,
Okay.
then that takes away my individuation. I don't feel like wearing white or
So you the person in the white party with the red dress?
right.
so yes. So one of the one of the birthday pictures that somebody always posts every single year. It was an all white party, and I had on white capris, but my top was like a teal. And I actually didn't know it was a white party, or maybe I did, and I was just being in my rebel state. Um, yeah, I didn't want to wear white.
That I don't know. That just reminds me of when my grandfather passed back in 2005. And Southern people, they just want to wear it like, oh yeah, morning, let's wear our black. No, because I didn't feel like that about his life. So I did wear a black skirt, but where I wore a hot pink sweater with,
Okay.
oh yeah, and then this was, how you had fashion tights or stockings,
Right.
but they were not. They kind of look like if you was on the pole, like the designs, like stripper pole, but they were. I was covered. They was like, you're exposing yourself, and why do you? Because I was like, his life is celebratory, so that was a big thing, like going against the grain. That was they still talk about that for years. I was
Oh
dressed
wow.
nicely and appropriately. It was just like, how you pop out with this?
You ain't follow the script.
Yeah,
So like,
Because they was like, not wearing all black. I don't. That's the funerals now.
so what is another way in relationships outside of outfits where support can be arbitrary, or like not necessarily recognized in the capacity that you would want them to be, or that the support is so much that it becomes codependency?
I think one thing that I hear a lot from women is that when they start telling their significant other, if it's a male, about what's going on with them or how they feel about something, the male wants to fix it. And they're like, that's not what I need. That's not the support I want right now.
Need you to
I just want
listen.
you to tell me it'll be okay. I'm here for you. Give me a hug.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so the male is being supportive.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
But it's not what the woman says they need.
Oh, I think a good one, another one is like sometimes in relationships, money can't fix everything. I'm sorry. I don't believe that.
Right.
You can be doing well, like you can be comfortable, you can be doing well, you can have your career, the whole nine, but money is not a band-aid for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
You're
one person
right.
is like, I need this. Oh, let's just throw money at it. Like, no, we need to
Mm-hmm.
communicate. We need to work on this. This
Mm-hmm.
takes, this is not, it's nothing money can solve.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it can take years to learn, but in the time that it takes to learn your partner and learn how it is that you define or redefine support can be at a detriment of the time lost too. But it takes maturity, to really know what support looks like for you as well. Because if we use the couple that we mentioned earlier, Will Smith, he thought that when he did the 40th birthday party for his wife,
Yeah.
that was what she wanted, and that was being supportive of the milestone of turning 40 and all of that.
40, right.
And that wasn't what she wanted. And so then therefore the whole idea the whole idea was taken away, like as far as in regards to supporting, and me feeling as if, not me, but her feeling as if she was being loved. And I think that dynamic happens in a lot of relationships,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
assuming that you know what it is that your partner is asking for in support, as opposed to learning and being vulnerable that where you're thinking is not the exact
Mm-hmm.
way of what it is.
Yeah, and I
I would
think
agree
that
with that.
in talking about the fix it aspect, I think that sometimes the woman doesn't know what it is that she wants,
Mm,
um, and that's the go to. That's
mhm,
the go to for the guy.
mhm,
You know, so part of it is also the person that needs the support knowing what they need so
mhm,
that they can communicate that effectively to their partner.
mhm.
You know?
And it's like nobody is actually, like mind readers. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
you have to really understand. Okay, Terrence, I see you in the building.
Hi.
Um,
Hi.
so like, you have to actually learn what it is that's like, again, it's like peeling back those layers of the onion that we always talk about periodically. Like, you have to be clear on what's at the core. And if either of you know, it's not the reason to get upset and angry and say, okay, well, the heck with this, we just gonna throw it out, whatever. But be willing to kind of grow through the stages of learning what it is. I mean, because it could be
Mm-hmm.
in intimacy, it could be in how you communicate. In communication comes verbal, nonverbal, like it's so much to it. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
how will you
And when
allow us to gradually get this? Because some people put time limits on it, like that post that
mm-hmm.
set in the group that then stirred up all types of conflict.
Which post was that?
That one girl, you know what?
I haven't been on Facebook as much as I usually am either.
Oh my goodness.
Which one? Which one? I posted a few things.
Right. You posted the one to lead into this conversation about the codependency. And I was like, okay, look at that.
Yeah.
But then you posted the one that Daryl, Neil, and myself going back and forth. There was a couple other people talking on it as well. And I wish Daryl was here because his focus was he had to wait 2 weeks and there's been no sex.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Right.
Oh
okay.
yeah, that was big.
That what you
Yeah.
And see who even needed you as Casper the Friendly Ghost Camp was in the conversation because you ain't even comment. You just lurking.
I didn't comment because I felt like it could be something like we've had in past conversations. It could be something medical. It could be something depression. It could be like the libido. It could be a lot of reasons. So that's why I didn't comment on it. But 2 weeks, that's a long time.
But the thing is that 2 weeks is when you recognize that there's a concern. So we talking about support versus codependency. Usually at the 2 week mark that you recognize that there's an issue where we're not balanced, it's been happening before then. It's just come to the surface at that point. And so much that, we got to kind of engineer backwards in regards to saying, okay, so yes, it's been 2 weeks. We haven't talked. The finances is off. The sex is off, whatever. If we just stay there, then we're going to be superficial. But if we say, okay, it has to be more to the picture, maybe something at work, maybe something medical, like camp, like we have talked about in other conversations. You're not supposed to talk about that in the bedroom. You're supposed to talk about that before you get to the bedroom, trying to deposit your car into a garage that has some moisture going on.
I just feel like you just described doing a backwards FBA or functional behavior assessment. It's like
it's the same because it's a behavior.
Backwards is a behavior, like the antecedents, what's going on. Like before, after, during, like just really taking notes in your head, like really slowing down and seeing what's going on.
Good night, Lloyd.
Yeah, good night, Lloyd. Thank you for passing through.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah.
So I think that's important.
And that vulnerability. I know we keep talking about it, but that vulnerability,
so consistent.
even if you don't know what it is that you need, that vulnerability will allow you to say that. Look, I know you're trying to be there for me, but I really don't know what I need right now. Just hold me until I figure it out, or whatever.
Right.
Being vulnerable enough to say I don't know.
I even like to do like a write down of like the pros and cons, or like how you balance a checkbook or something like that. Like balancing out like I've been feeling like this, but why? Like try to go back and fill in the gaps if possible.
Thank you, Terrence.
Yeah, thank you.
But I think when you don't know, and then looking back, if months pass and then you see, you're like, oh, now I know. So now I know what if it happens again, so it doesn't go that long, and you recognize, and you're like, okay, this how I can pull out of this next time.
Yes.
So just taking stock in yourself, I think, is important.
Very important.
But the thing is, like, if we go back to using that post from the group conversation at one point is only focusing on the right now, the sex, and the right now not getting sex. And I'm like, that makes the relationship more performative than it does really truly wanting to know how my partner is living on a day-to-day basis, or why the no is happening right now.
And if you're taking it personally, like,
and people take that personally.
Yeah.
Sorry, people.
And a lot of times you got to pull yourself back from that because that leads you down the road of what's wrong with me and what's wrong with my partner.
Right, and then going back into the fix it mode.
And sometimes it's not about you.
Exactly.
It has nothing to do with you.
Because then it's like, are you asking me to ignore what's wrong with me, to become codependent on you, and for us to then now develop more unhealthy, now we go into the unhealthy boundaries or the unhealthy, like undesirable things in a relationship that makes me an enabler, because now I don't take the time to invest, that I've been in tunnel vision and missed some of the signs that you or we have something else happening.
And that's key right there. You know, when you go from what's wrong with you or what's wrong with me to what's happened and
Mm-hmm.
how can we fix it, it's a
Mm-hmm.
different, it gives it a whole different look.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But you have to be willing to do the work too. Everybody wants a quick
Yeah.
fix, and quick fixes,
Microwave
sometimes there is
relationship.
no. Oh my God! Sometimes there is no quick fix, and I
Mm-hmm.
think quick fixes compound the issues.
They definitely do.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I think, like, out of everything, if we go to like just using that meme or that conversation,
Mhm.
is that meme shows us already in the bedroom. There should be so many ways that you communicate outside of that space before you get there, and it's not helpful.
Mhm.
But to be honest, I feel like a lot of people do communicate in the bedroom.
Mhm. They do.
It depends
That's
on the
their way of
relationship.
communicating.
Yeah,
It does.
it depends on the relationship, but I think that if there's trouble in paradise, as Ruth said, then the bedroom is not always the best place
To
for
be
those
right.
conversations to happen.
Mhm.
I agree with that.
Mhm. Yeah, and it sometimes they don't have the heart or the
They don't trust each
wherewithal
other.
to
Yeah.
bring it up in other areas.
Mm-hmm.
So they just wait, you know, all right, if she turned me down tonight, then I'm gonna say something.
Right. But then you're gonna say it aggressively, like, "Oh, we need to fuss and fight about it now because you're not supporting this relationship. I work hard all day. I bring all this money to the table, and
Who
then
cares?
I can't even get a little hot cross buns. Like, I need some hot cross
Mhm.
buns."
And that's
Mhm.
another issue. People want to be applauded for stuff they supposed to do already. That's what you call being a man or a woman. And like nobody has to, the world. I don't owe you. Okay, a thank you is nice, but that's like a man saying that. But you work too. You cook too. You take care of kids too, or you have a business too. But that with them saying that negates, or your partner, whoever it is, it negates what you bring to the table. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not feeling the same way as you, or I haven't had a hard day. To me,
Mhm.
that's being selfish, and you're not looking at the big picture.
Mhm.
Yeah, so massage my feet while we looking at TV, or ask me if I want a cup of tea if you know I love tea, or
Right.
let's plan, like, it's the first weekend of December. Let's plan a getaway the third week in December. That's just for us. Like, plant those seeds that's going to help nurture the space where you're approachable and available in the conversation, to even have a space where you can feel we don't have to worry about the kids coming into the room.
Mhm.
We don't have to worry about cell phone or being on social media while we're trying to have this
Mhm.
supportive conversation. Like, create the space in other ways.
Mhm.
I don't know no
Yeah.
woman that don't want their feet massaged.
Right.
Like, that
Oh,
is
that takes me back.
yeah, I'm sure it does.
Oh, to somebody who wanted to date me, but that's a
Mm.
long story. But anyway,
So here's a
So
question from Terrence.
what? Okay.
Are there
are these
questions that
questions?
both genders can ask or do?
Okay. I was getting ready
He's about to
to
load
Okay.
it up.
ask pose the question to the group. What are some of the signs that the relationship is codependent?
Oh, I mean, it's made so when I feel like one partner or mate, they have hobbies, but they stop doing their own thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're together, but they wait. Literally, people sitting by the phone or
Mm.
waiting. Like for example, house can be clean, nothing major's going on. They're just sitting there till you get home,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and they stop. they've fully have engulfed themselves in your life, but that has not been reciprocated back. So eventually the other person starts to harbor resentment, just like little stuff, just like stop doing their hobbies or things that make them happy. It could be reading a book or like just going out, just catching up with girlfriends once a month or something.
Or
Or
the guys,
visiting their
or the guys going out with the guys.
or sometimes like, you know how families, I don't know, I was used to growing up, like families would get together like every other week or at least once a month where everybody would come over for like Sunday dinner, like big mama or grandmother, somebody, aunt, the matriarch of the family cooked or something like that. You play board games or just keeping that thing going, like the little stuff. When certain things that's been key to them stop.
Yes. And Ruth made a good point too about speaking for your partner.
Yes.
Like they don't have their own mind.
Yes.
Right. Before they can say
finishing their
something, you just
sentences. Yes.
like twins.
Karen said, "Do we have a camera in his home?" No, but we know because we know that a lot of people live with these situations. So
right.
if they happen to come across your living room floor, you know, that's why we have sip and chat every Friday.
Yeah. So filling in the gaps, like your partner doesn't have their own mind or their own opinions or their own thoughts.
You know, and that could be dismissive to what it is that they bring to the relationship.
Of course.
And I think that's a lack of respect. Like that's what I see that as. And people are like, oh, that person respects you. I said, no, they don't.
But some people will say, oh, he or she knows me so well.
I get that in certain situations.
But that's where you notice,
and that's really abusive. Like it could be abusive.
It could be
abusive.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Let me be clear.
It could be.
It could be.
And that's where you know, when you hear things like that, that's when you start to notice the signs of codependency. You know, because both partners are on board. So one partner is speaking for the other partner, and that partner is saying, "Oh, they know me so well."
And that might be the answer that they have to give so that they can, you know, live fun through the rest of the evening, but never know what's going to happen as soon as they get in the car or back home.
And I think sometimes partners or mates may speak on something and you think or feel totally different, and it can be in front of mixed company or people you've known forever, and they looking at you like, that's how you living? That's your life? And no, I don't think like that. Come from a
and that's
different
what
background.
Ruth said.
You know, that ain't my. That ain't.
Yeah, if that's not your opinion and they're wrong, you should say something.
But that reflects on you too. So people like, not to think about what people think, but your own friends, like people start to be like, tell me if I'm right or am I wrong?
And really, that's not a fair question to ask of anybody outside of yourself. Like, are you right or are you wrong? Because one of the things that when working with someone, either as an individual or as a couple, I'm like, what is the blueprint that you want to work for you? You know, like, yes, you know what your family did, you know what your friends do, but what is it that you want in your household to be the blueprint on how you guys communicate, how you talk about finances, how you plan trips, how you plan meals, like whatever. Your blueprint is your blueprint, and nobody should be able to come in with their crayons and go outside the lines and tell you that what you did is right or wrong.
I agree.
Ever. Now, if y'all choose the color outside the lines, then that means that Sunday family dinner or the Wednesday meeting that you have, then let's say, okay, let's revise this or look at this a little bit different and come to an agreement. Not, oh, this is the best idea because I saw it on Dr. whatever show, and we just about to do it. No, it has to be a conversation to show the evidence.
I watched Dr. Oz.
Right. I was trying not to say
isn't he running for some political office now?
See, now you know that newsflash. I know that newsflash.
I saw that.
Yes.
So what is Dr. Oz doing now?
Running for, I don't know. He's running for something. I don't know if it's senator or governor or He's
something
running
like
for some
that. But he's
political
running for a
position.
Republican office, and people be like,
Yes.
"Oh no, he's moved to the dark side."
Okay, so we're not supporting that. That we're not going to be codependent to the fact that he's been on the news or on TV.
Right.
That no, we dismissing that right there.
Mhm.
He
Oh,
running for
Senate. Okay.
Senate.
Senate. Okay. I know it was something.
But what's the
Yeah.
difference between him doing it and the actor Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Mm,
I don't think it's any different.
me
I
neither.
mean, and then really think about 2016.
And in
20,
Texas, they were trying to get Matthew McConaughey to do it, to run for governor.
all right, we going down a dark hole, y'all.
Yes, we are. Yes. So
Well-
so what about boundaries? When you're when you're in a codependent relationship, are there lines? Like Mary, you talked about lines for people outside of your relationship, but are there lines inside the relationship? Not usually, right?
They're blurred.
They
Right?
they can become blurred. They could definitely become blurred. I think that, but that's where it comes in what Lloyd was saying earlier about making sure you have like that open communication, or I'm going to say balanced communication, because if you have the balanced communication, then when the lines become blurred or you need to renegotiate what those boundaries are, then it's already like a no-brainer. You got a code word and you can work it out. But if you don't have that in place already, then you're gonna constantly have like seasons where you going at it. And it's like, okay, well, somebody's gonna say, I'm gonna just let this one partner just take the lead, and that's giving them permission for you to be codependent because you felt like your voice needed to be silent.
Yeah, it takes away your power. Your individual power, I think. But and sometimes I've seen where one partner or the other just, I wouldn't say give in, but it's just like,
I'm tired. I don't feel like it.
I'm tired. It's like,
I'm tired. Do what you want.
It's just better sometimes to be like, you know what? I'm just going to fall back and move my hands. But I think I feel like doing that too many times creates another culture of something different in a relationship.
I just want to, before we go past that, I want to respond to Terrence. He was saying that we are on point and he wants to know how other people can connect with us. So Terrence, we do have a group called Relationship Flow, where the conversation, you've heard us mention different memes or whatever and conversations that happen throughout the week. And then each and every Friday, however you're joining now, which I would assume is on my personal profile, we stream live Fridays at 8:00. Now with the holidays, we're about to take a break, but other than that, we are here every Friday from 8 till we finish chatting.
And it's streamed out of Relationship Flow, right?
It's also streamed out of the group Relationship Flow. It's streamed from Dr. Carissa's page. It's on YouTube from Butterfly Love Consultations LLC, and also my business page, Butterfly Love Consultations. So it's several ways that people can connect. But I think you get the best vibe if you're actually in the group as well, because we kind of share a whole bunch
definitely
throughout the week. Yeah. Hey Tanya, thank you for dropping by.
Tanya.
We was talking about you earlier, Tanya.
Yes.
I forgot, what did I say about Tanya? So you can't be talking about your cousins, they pop up. There was something that she shared. I forgot. I just know I mentioned her. He said, thank you, it just appeared. Well, you know, the analytics always want to make sure that you know when somebody's doing something on these social media streets.
Yeah.
But yes, it's every Friday at 8:00 is when we start. So Camp, you was talking, and then now Ruth has written a whole thing that covers your face. She said, I was more willing of a codependent partner in my 20s and 30s, but we needed to renegotiate the blurred lines after I matured and came to know who I was and what I wanted. Age is not always a factor, but it's a factor of us being married so young. Absolutely. I got you. I took it off her face now. We can see her now.
Yes. And learning how to navigate. which comes with maturity
It
and
does.
knowing yourself, like she said. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's hard when one partner is used to one thing. It could be either side, and then you want to renegotiate and change things up, and it's like, what? Why
Like, why you
now?
want to change?
Yeah, where is this coming from? But each person grows
Mm-hmm.
or evolves to some extent, depending on which direction you're going.
And
Mm-hmm.
the funny thing, we talking about support and codependency, and then you mentioned the word changing based on maturity. That again, that sometimes comes just like that meme came up, and you think of just the surface being the issue versus, okay, we're mature now, like I understand my body more, or I understand that my career is not everything, that I need to create some balance, but I need your help to teach me how to create that balance, or allowing me to be involved with the kids, or to be involved with planning dinner and stuff like that with you, as opposed to us just being two trains moving in a house separate directions.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I think it's hard. But I think it's people do say so. That is true. I think it's just hard when you are married or you are in a long-term relationship at a very young age and y'all grow together.
Hopefully.
Men and women are totally different. Those speeds are at different paces and courses. And then when you come into your own as a woman, you're saying, oh, no, I need this. That's not going to work. This doesn't. I see myself. This is where it can be conflict. But it takes work to work through it. You got to want to work at it. And want to work together.
And at work, don't necessarily have a time frame.
Right. True.
I'm surprised when people, I have a couple now who has just recently reached out, well, a couple months ago, and I might have mentioned them on here, that they reached out, and one partner more than the other was like, well, how many skills sessions is it going to take in order for us to learn each other? Or how long, like the long or the skill development? I'm like, I can't answer that for you. Like, it's up to how you invest in doing the work. You just got to be really ready to you shouldn't have been listening to him at all. But I understand what his draw is. I didn't even realize that he was on Fridays at the same time.
Me neither.
I'm sure if Daryl was here, he would have been like, no, we need whatever. I forgot what I was. Wanting to say how many skill sessions is going to take for you to learn yourself individually and then being available to your partner. Nobody can answer that because you didn't get here overnight. If we go back to the FBA, if people don't know what that is, they can't mention
functional behavior assessment.
Yes. The function of your behavior on how you even got to this dysfunction, this codependency, this non-supportive mindset, you didn't have a number of sessions that it took for that. So why is the fix it or the roll up the sleeves doing the work have to have a number on it? And I think that people quantify it with, the pay out of pocket, process.
Yes.
And do you put value in what your growth is, or are you saying it should only cost X amount of dollars? I'm like,
But I think some people may quantify it because to be realistic, I feel everybody has a certain capacity to where they're willing to go to their breaking point. So if they've been dealing with something for a long time, they're willing to put in the work, but sometimes it's like, is this going to work? I put all of this
like
in.
What's going to make this work differently than anything
right else? Then because we be trying to do different things, and what's this, not so much the cost of it, I think it's more so people just be having timelines like 2 years, 5 years, whatever they want to do in life.
6 months.
Like, is it is it the value? It's more like the value of something is based on how much you think it's worth. So basically, if you think your relationship is worth the work and the time to put in, then you won't have too much of a timeline.
But I find myself having to remind people too that you didn't get here in 6 months.
Right.
You've been doing these behaviors for 20 years.
Right, 20 years. Right.
You know, so
And you've had
does
previous
that
therapists
even
before
does it
me.
even right? Does it even make sense that you're expecting, you know, things to be good in 6 months?
Right. So I had a couple. I guess I still have this couple. However, we've gotten to a point where it's a year. And so we had to have a renegotiation of dependency on therapy. And so it was like, I mean, it was to the point they was like, oh, we're going to just move you in and we're going to pay for your vacations. And I was like, oh, that sounds good. I said, but the reality is it can't be that way. You have to learn some of the transferable skills so that you can independently not have an in-home therapist for your every move. I'm like, it sounds good. Reality TV makes it look like it's something that's fashionable, but the reality is you all have to sustain your relationship and be able to communicate without the catalyst.
Right.
So now we're at the place where I guess we're on a break, if you will. They're trying the skills that they have rehearsed, developed, nurtured throughout that year, because it's been a lot of changes and growth that they had done. So we acknowledge that. And it's like now they're on the let's try it and see how we do.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean,
And they're open to coming back into the process when needed, which is great. Because that's like that's a case for
the point of therapy.
Right. You're not supposed to say, oh, we just gonna have this crutch every 2 weeks or once a month because we can't exist without the catalyst of therapy. No, that's not healthy. That's codependency. That's not
exactly
on the therapy.
learn.
Yes. And therapists get into those roles too.
True. I think so too.
It does
Especially
happen.
if they're not trained well. Yeah.
Right. And you know, you have to remind them, my job is to make you not need me.
I'm supposed to be working my way out of a job from day one.
Right. So if somebody's been in therapy over the same issues for 5 years, then that's not good.
Okay, dinner. We like to eat.
Right. We like to eat.
We like to eat.
Yeah, we sure do.
We do. And you know, we do probably share a lot of information, but Doc's book as well as my book is always available. And if your children need any specialized educational supports, I was going to say Dr. Camp. Camp's book is available as well. The thing is what I know about Terrence is that he's really real, like in saying that he want to take us out. And I'm just letting you know, Terrence, I'm really real that I like to eat.
So what? I've gotten this question a couple times. Like, where does that come from? That codependency? How does that develop?
Girl,
isn't it through childhood sometimes, or separation anxiety, or being hurt, or they left me? I had no clue. Yeah, it could be another previous
learning that your needs are not worthwhile. So you have to join with someone else.
But you attract who you are, though. To some degree.
To a degree.
To some degree. Yes.
To some degree.
Yes.
But the thing about all of what you said. Okay, Ruth, come through, because that's what I was about to say. To the degree of where codependency is okay for you, it's taught from your childhood. Because from the very beginning of being told what chores that you do based on your gender, what your responsibilities are, what they aren't, from your childhood, that stuff manifests and it grows into how you see yourself and how you are allowed to be seen.
Yes.
And then you go and try and find partners and friendships and so forth like that mimic that versus breaking that cycle.
Yes, exactly.
Like this could be if the parent was physically present or not, because sometimes you have that invisible loyalty to the parent who wasn't there, and you make up this fantasy of who it is and what it is that you deserve and how it is that you should be seen and acknowledged. So child, we could go.
Yes, we can. And it can develop if the child's emotional needs aren't met,
Mhm.
ignored,
And when you mention
or if they're acknowledged but they're shamed for them.
Mhm.
and when you mention certain chores and stuff for certain genders and stuff like that, the big thing is now is not buying boys, kitchens. But when you go to daycare or preschool, boys and girls play with cars, trucks, kitchens. They learn how to do things.
First of all, who is the chef that's in the kitchen most of the time? A man.
Right. Right.
But
So I think
growing up,
go
they say
places.
women are the ones or girls are the ones who are
Right.
in the kitchen to clean, and that the man is not the one. Listen, cook for me. Like,
Right.
Mhm.
yes,
So
please.
I'll be damned if my kids can't cook because they boys.
Right.
No. You gonna play with the kitchen and
Mhm.
other apparatuses and toys just like the girls.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
I'm
Now,
not
I can't be
limiting
clear
you. You
on what
can't
your
play with this.
apparatuses are, because this is sip and chat.
I'm sorry. I was saying apparatus meaning blankets, different baby dolls, cars. They got the kites and ships, all kinds of things like that for kids. Globes, like of the mat, like just different things, hands on. That's what I mean by apparatus.
The hands-on is an apparatus that in sip and chat it can be
Hands-on
a
learning
lot of stuff, right?
with childhood.
Hands-on learning.
Appropriate
Mhm.
toys.
Right. Ruth, I'm gonna behave. Behave. You don't have to tell me to behave. Oh, you behave.
Yeah.
But
that's
even
How does a person come to this mind that they don't deserve, or that they shouldn't have autonomy? Now we're back to the separation and individuation.
yeah.
which in the childhood development cycle happens in your early years of what age is that, Doc? Is it like 6 to 8?
I think that is the right time
Yeah.
frame.
It's like 6 to 8, and then if you think about a traumatic event that shapes you being codependent or not codependency happens between the ages of 6 and 12. And that shapes your framework from 6 to 12, whatever you experience, on what you do as an adult and in any relationship, including at work, like
Oh,
talking
it's a
to
big
your
one.
boss or being able to negotiate your raise, or like all of that stuff is relative and important.
And don't forget that if the traumatic event didn't happen directly to you and it happened to your parent, there's some reflection on their ability to help you create power and independence. Because if you have a parent who had, who was raped or mugged or something really traumatic like that, now they don't want you to be independent.
Right.
They don't want you to develop these skills and
They want to
independence where
hover
you
you.
might, where
Or if
you
they
want
had
to
an
be
ailment or
out
something,
doing things on your
disease or
own.
something.
Which is that creating that fear factor,
Mm-hmm.
which is why we don't look at the news in our
Like
current
living in
event.
fear.
Because if you live in fear, then you're a confused mind, and as a confused mind, you can't make a decision. So they have to keep you confused and living in fear, so that therefore thinking individually is a crime.
Right. And I think living in fear sometimes that can even make you sick or not feel well. Like an emotional, physical state.
That makes me think of Eminem. How he made his whole first rap album, like his whole therapy.
I do remember that.
Munchausen syndrome or whatever, that wasn't really real, but it was real for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's not the only musical artist that did it, but he's the one that had us paying for his therapy bill.
Oh, you got me thinking about his songs now.
Yeah, absolutely. Which one you got?
But tonight I'm cleaning out my closet.
You know what? Yes.
That one, because that one was real. You'd be like, oh my gosh. And then when you see the video, how they do the video with the trailer park and the antics, it was just a lot. I was just like,
and Detroit, shut up, Mary.
I was just talking about the video, how it was portrayed. Because sometimes you can feel something like you can't hear words and feel something, but then sometimes if it's a visual concept, you know how you do videos, it really digs even deeper, and I'm like, oh wow. And then you start to relate, even if that's not your life, like
Absolutely.
so yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely sellable.
Definitely sellable. And you still remember the words.
Yes.
I mean, I was just like, okay, what is it? Let me hear it.
that one was and other ones about his ex-wife can't. Yeah, it was a lot.
The one he made with Rihanna.
Rihanna too.
What's it?
Oh, the one with him and Rihanna.
The one with him and Rihanna. I like the way
that
you lie about the abusive relationship.
Yes, that song right there is powerful too.
Yes,
it is.
Yes,
very, very powerful.
Very,
very powerful.
Talked about the push and pull of an abusive relationship and that toxic love.
Another artist.
That's an oxymoron, right?
Yes.
Toxic love.
You just reminded me of how I wanted to do. I have these songs that I do when I'm speaking around domestic violence and intimate partner violence, and it's certain songs that I use, but I want to do a whole like webinar on how the songs that we listen to kind of fuel our codependency type roles. So man, 2022
that would be a good series. You can always pull from Mary J. Blige.
Listen, she got a new one. Did y'all hear the new one today? You probably didn't hear that because y'all don't be on.
I did.
I listened to it. It was good.
It is good.
Musically.
It is good. Doc, it's available on social media. You know, that platform that we're streaming on now.
Okay, I'll check it out.
They have her new song. She's loving herself.
Okay, good.
Loving herself.
Good.
She's sexy in it, but she loving herself too.
Good for her.
Yes. You know, some people got different versions of Mary that they like. I like all versions of Mary.
I like all because I've been rocking with Mary since I was 7. Since she came out, so I like all the
You were 7 when What's the 401 came out?
Yes.
Wow.
I say where I was then. Never mind.
Right?
She said I was 7, Doc. I actually want to say where I was at. Like, she said she was 7.
Wow.
And then one of my other favorites when she, got her self-confidence, but everything. Like everything. I was 13. Like I just remember certain things in Mary's life. The relationships. Yeah. Been rocking with Mary.
Woo, 7.
He said no Music Soul Child.
Yeah, so what's up? I guess we gotta listen to Music Soul Child again. I used to rock with him, but I don't remember
listen to
like that.
But I listened to stuff circa 2009 and back. Like when he first came out.
Yeah. He was always unique to me. But then he was from Philly, so I was like, okay, that's part of the uniqueness. Now it's no shade on Philly. It's just that was part of his uniqueness. I had to clarify it. No shade.
Yes.
I like Soul Child. So
who said? Someone said something about making decisions. Or
I was gonna say, so yeah, thanks, Doc.
Had to bring us back. Bring us back.
Had to go down a road.
One of you mentioned having difficulty making decisions, and that is part of being, that's a signal that you're headed for or in a codependent relationship. Well, like you can't make any individual decisions, and you got to ask for permission for things.
So, for example, like every time you make a decision versus you or anybody you directly connected to, you call a certain person.
But like they all coloring in the lines of your blueprint because you got to call them and get their permission to do something.
Yeah, but you got to call them, like, what do you think about this? It can be
or back in the day when Big Mama, however you referred to Big Mama and your family, like Big Mama she was the therapist and the matriarch or usually of everything, but that wasn't always the best option. The best option. Because was Big Mama married? Or like, was she not necessarily married, but was she representing, you know how they say when you want to grow into something, you got to go to the people who are already living in that higher sense of self. Nothing against Big Mama.
Right.
But the advice is not coming from the place of growth where you want to go to all the time.
I was thinking about that when the guy we was talking about earlier came out with his book that he didn't write.
Oh yeah, that was the one with the dusty book right here.
Yes, yes.
Right.
And
that I didn't read.
For a while, people were pursuing him for advice. I mean, I remember seeing him writing in it might have been Essence or Ebony, one of those. And there was one thing in particular where someone wrote in that they had their partner had gained a lot of weight, and they were, trying to decide how they were going to handle this because this is not what they like. And he recommended something like hold off sex, some kind of punishment. I was like, you're gonna lead this person to a divorce.
Exactly.
That's not good advice. So we have to watch who we get advice from.
Right.
I shouldn't say that. I should say different. That's different.
Yeah, because just because they have celebrity status, this is where we started earlier, but I was just thinking about that as we talking about these celebrities. Just because they have celebrity status and experience,
they like the big mama theory. They don't necessarily have the experience of leveling up to where you're trying to level up to. Especially when they didn't write the book, they just the celebrity trying to. Okay, what did that page say? Let me see. All right, yeah, let me go tell them this real quick. They reading the cue cards because, yeah, he didn't write that book anyway.
It's just when I just thought about that when y'all was saying that. That made me think of women were actually doing that stuff in the book.
Yeah, like waiting 90 days, and then they're like, okay, well, after 91 days, I was ready. I gave up, and then he left me. Because there's so many other skills of codependency that you just kind of overlooked that you needed in that process. And you was like a cat in heat. You was waiting on that 91st day. Scratching the post. Like, here I am.
Walking around with your butt in the air.
Right. Right. Like, here I am. Don't you see my outfit is all ready for you?
Or the other one when you in a
relationship. Right, Neil.
What was that movie? How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? People was following that too. Like,
or even the movie Hitch.
Yes.
Even I mean, in that movie was funny. But it definitely has some unrealistic expectations like in that, because like, why?
And people with codependent tendencies, I'll say, look for other people to be codependent on, if that makes sense. Whether it be a celebrity or Big Mama or their best friend, because they can't or they haven't developed that individuality, where they can depend on themselves.
Right. Because they don't trust themselves for whatever childhoodness that has been broken in them. So they don't even realize. They realize that probably the adult person who hurt them, but they don't realize that it was a situation from their childhood, because they want to be loyal to stuff that doesn't serve them 2021 forward.
Like,
people want to be, that's a sermon right there.
People want to be loyal to stuff that does not serve them.
Maybe my family did it, and I think it worked for them, so I needed to work for me. Why is it not working for me? Because you need to break the cycle. Like, it's okay, break the cycle.
But breaking the cycle is difficult, especially if those people are still in your life, because now you look other.
Yeah, you gotta break that.
So you gotta have some self-confidence to be able to break the cycle.
Because that othering is serious.
Yes.
That othering,
takes self-esteem.
It does.
Well, okay, so even if you were to like break it off temporarily and not be codependent, isn't it like an addiction? Like, you can easily fall back into it if you don't build up
it's comfortable.
to fall right back into the cycle.
Because we're gonna fall into what's comfortable. Because doing opposite of comfortable takes work. It takes diligence. It takes consistency. It takes breaking the norms. It takes losing the people who you thought was going to be with you forever. And if you losing all of that, you like, well, wait a minute. Maybe this other side of this grass ain't where I want to be. Maybe I was okay with, you know, being bopped on my head or being seen as invisible, or like you begin to renegotiate what your support or what your relationship should actually look like versus you know, versus just having
all the losses, because you're looking at them as losses.
Looking at losses as opposed to being something that's shedding. Like you need to shed all of that
every year, like a snake. Oh,
you know, every year be that butterfly and just
yes, it's all about perspective.
Yes.
That's the cocoon.
Yes, the cocoon. Break through that cocoon each season that you need to.
And you're right, kid. We, you know, especially in a stressful time, if we come upon some stressful situation, we resort to what we know. You know, it's so easy because it's comfortable. It's like right back to this is okay. This is familiar. I know what this is.
But then sometimes even stuff that is familiar, after a while, you know it's not the best decision, or you know it's not the right thing for you, but you still go along with it because you're trying to be nice, or you're just trying to like try to keep it balanced, but it's never still stressful. It's not balanced.
Yes.
And I feel like stuff like this starts to manifest itself in other areas.
It does.
And people are afraid of change, Terrence, like for sure. Because change is not what we've been trained or downloaded or taught is okay. Like they say change to a certain degree. They'll say, yeah, go to school, get a degree, get a better job, whatever. Change that because I wasn't able to go to school. But don't go to school and act new. Or don't go to school and come back and tell me.
Don't start thinking on your own because you're not better than us.
Right.
Oh, that's like you start better with, like, you go off to school, you start eating healthier, and then you visit your family, and you're like, I don't eat like that anymore.
Right.
They're like, are you too good to eat this? But then you have to remember, I never really ate that. Y'all just put it on my plate.
You didn't have a choice.
I didn't have a choice. Like, even when I think about it, certain things I couldn't even eat or have, I was allergic to. But, you know, I wasn't allergic to. I was just, for example, they would just tell the people, oh, she just ate the wrong thing. No, I'm not even supposed to be eating that. You know? Or I would just, you know how you pass it to somebody up underneath the table. Like, be like, here, my plate.
The dog is always at the right person. Yeah. And then like, why is the dog choking? I don't know.
Yep, I did that too. But yeah, I just think like certain things. And they assume, and people assume you haven't changed, like going off to school.
Right.
And like my family, like from down south, so they make their own deer sausage, all kinds of stuff. I got celiac, so when I came back after a couple of years and just to visit, just to eat, they was feeding me stuff. I'm like, so what's in this? What's going on? And it's like, why you asking all these questions? Just eat. I'm like, look, and then I ate it. I was just like, I got so sick. So it's just like little stuff. Like when you know better, you do better. Like eating healthier. Like
yeah, but you're supposed to know that statement, but you're not supposed to apply it to the family event.
The family get offended about anything that you change.
That's so interesting because I'm seeing that one of my cousins just interacted with the post, but then at the same time of you saying that, I'm thinking about how when I chose to push away from my grandmother's table, this is before college. This was I moved into your house wearing a 12 slim and now I'm wearing a 16 woman's. Like, how does that happen over a summer? That was my question. So when I pushed away from the table, it was like, oh, you too good. You can't eat this food no more. And it's like, your food is killing me. Like, it took me 3 days to find one pair of jeans. Like, that never happened before. Like, but that wasn't the perspective of our dearest grandmother. She was like, everybody's arms supposed to be plush. And
That's
you're
how you know
looking
if
like
they cooking
60
that.
bones. I had to learn you something.
If you ain't got them plush arms, you can't cook right. You know how in the kitchen you can't. You got to get out.
I mean, no, she would really like cousins or people coming in. She would like really like go up their arm and be like,
and measure.
Yeah, it's okay, baby. Just come have a seat real quick. I'm gonna work it out for you.
Wow.
So I just think that creates a codependency on the family. And if you do outside thinking of family, like everybody's supposed to think the same way. You're supposed to work together. So if somebody needs something, everybody in the family is supposed to rally together each and every time. But you may have different needs, feel different, think differently about things.
Yo, Ruth, that 12 Slim, that hurt my heart that I was wearing a 16 women's in the summer. Like, what was happening? I know what we was eating. Y'all don't even want to know. It started at 8 o'clock in the morning and went to 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Wow.
And I don't eat none of that stuff.
But that's how they show. That's how, you know, grandma showed love.
That was.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
And I was I was being all types of disrespectful and sassy by saying, I don't want what you serving. All this butter swimming
I'm
in
not
it.
gonna eat that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And people will look at you like, just sit down and just be quiet. Like,
and my mom would come home. My mom would come home so tired from work, and my grandmother would be like, "Well, she ain't eat all day. Don't nobody know what's wrong with her." And my mom would be like, "Well, why you didn't eat?" I was like, "I'm not hungry." She's like, "You gotta be hungry because you gotta eat." And I was like, "Nope, we gotta break this cycle." And so I really like was either eating from what y'all would refer to as a corner store. It wasn't a corner store where I was at, and or she would take me out to a restaurant that they end up knowing us by name because that's the only way that I would eat.
Oh wow.
16 women's in the summer.
Yeah, of course.
I get it.
Yeah.
From a 12 Slim. I don't even think they make 12 Slim no more.
They do.
Oh, okay. Well, I ain't seen it in so long. I don't know.
But that codependent attitude is kind of how gangs are run.
Think about it. Yeah, they are. They are. You can't make a move without them.
Right.
And you got to be set with everybody else because that's how they flow. That's how they recruit. That's how they keep it going. That's how they have you doing their crimes versus them doing it.
Now see,
then I think about it.
But that's not this show tonight. But that's not every. I'm gonna just say this. That's not every layer and role of a person who's involved in gang life. That's all I can say. Legally.
No, it's not.
Right.
It's not.
Right. I'm sorry. I just had to say it.
No.
I had to actually.
So it's like, okay, some stuff is in there like Prego.
Yeah. I actually had to have that same discussion with. I was talking to someone else about this topic, and they brought up fraternities and sororities.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking fraternities and sororities. Just when you said gangs, I'm not saying they are.
You said the gangs and the sororities in the same conversation.
When Doc said gangs, I thought about fraternities and sororities. I sure did.
I could see it.
No, I could. Like, it's just.
Yes, and Ruth is right. The church cultures.
Oh, that's worse than the sororities and fraternities. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but that's my opinion.
That's not really where it starts, but that's a place where it starts.
It's a place, yeah.
Yeah, because you shut up, Mary.
But let's just say
that's at home.
In any situation where you are not allowed or shamed for or supposed to be dependent, where you're not allowed or shamed for being an independent thinker.
Oh, that's today's education in the classroom. Especially for Black and brown kids with these white teachers. I'm sorry. Not all, but yes, it is. It can be.
Anything that's a ritual can create some codependency.
A good way of putting it.
Anything that, like, because then that way it's like you're not offending nobody by whatever squad they represent. But anything that is a ritual, and I know, that's not our intention, nor do we probably care.
No,
but anything that is a ritual generally is has some layer of hierarchy. And when you have hierarchy in any relationship, is based on a codependent mindset. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
And why should you be guilty? Like, you shouldn't have to feel guilty for having your own independent thought. Like, we're gonna be soldiers or what?
Well, I think it's all about power and control.
It truly is. It truly is.
And like even with like friendships, I just keep seeing this quote or this meme, like people want you to do better, but just not better than them. People want you to be happy, but not happier than they are. Like, so that's a form of control too, even with friendships and different types of relationships. I'm happy for you, but not really. I don't want you to surpass me, but I just think that's, another sense of control.
People don't like that word control.
Well,
some people actually like the sense of control because they've been conditioned that that's the only way they can function well.
Yes.
But then those who color outside the lines is like, control what?
But that's a trigger word for some people.
It is, especially black women.
Not controlling. But okay.
Yes. Right.
Oh, guilt, shame, fire, and brimstone. Yeah.
What's the brimstone?
You going to hell?
You know what? Okay.
That's what you asked the question. That's what it.
No, I just didn't know. Yes,
I was thinking the same thing, Terrence. That came to my mind too. That word submissive.
And control.
Not submissive. You're not being out. You're not following the leadership of the husband or your partner.
Yeah, please say partner, Gina.
Yeah, your partner.
That's partner. More appropriate.
I mean,
Yeah, there's a thin line.
Inclusive.
Because you can be interdependent without becoming codependent. So it's a thin line.
It is.
And people, you have to know where that line is. And know what it looks like and what it feels like when you cross it. When you start to feel like you've become melded with your partner, you might be crossing over that line from interdependence to codependence.
You said melded. Okay.
When you start to start to see that you're not having your own opinions, for one thing.
Or every time you do have your own opinion, it gets dismissed. Like, who gave you permission to even have an independent thought, individuated thought?
And when you start to feel responsible for your partner's happiness, I don't know how many times I've heard, and I'm sure, Mary, I'm sure you heard it, in couples that are separating or have separated, they don't make me happy anymore. That wasn't their job in the first place.
How about that? How about that?
But a lot of people they weigh that on their partner.
Yes. Yes, they do. And I think that contributes to the high levels of separation, well, divorce, because you're no longer feeling happy because you never made yourself happy.
Right. But then it also may be that maturity thing that you don't know what makes you happy.
That too. Yeah.
Because you might be checking the boxes of all these different experiences, thinking that they make you happy, but when that thrill of adrenaline kind of falls down, you're like, okay, I'm not happy no more. And you're like, you really wasn't happy during that rush either.
Or just like the partner says, I thought we were happy. I thought I made you happy.
I got this house for you. I bought you this car. I take you on vacations. All of those things is superficial.
But did you show up for me? Did you make time for me?
Hey, but that show up part is where the support word becomes arbitrary.
True.
Because they will say again, I showed up. I bought you this house. I bought you this car. I go to work every day.
Every day, long hours. Get these bonuses so that you can go buy this $7,000 bag or $5,000 bag. I'm like, a bag?
Right.
That's what we doing? A bag?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shoes? Oh, because they got red on the bottom? Oh.
Okay. Just paying them like they do online. I'm just saying.
Right. Oh gosh.
Oh, Ruth said, "Did you do the dishes or the laundry? Forget the house and the car."
Right.
She know what she wants.
Right. Right.
I agree with Ruth because I'm just like, or clean the bed, like do something like that. That's a good one.
And you know, some people hide behind the textbook answer, Terrence. Like for real, like they hide behind that. Because that's what they've been taught, and they don't know that they can have an individual thought that doesn't subscribe to that textbook. Because the textbook ain't bleeding for you, for real.
Yeah, people want to say what they think is acceptable.
Not me, but
definitely, if anybody don't know, I'm gonna say it. I ain't said it in a long time. Trump ain't never said what was acceptable.
I don't know. Yeah, yeah.
I don't think that ever was in your download.
It's not, and that's the thing I've learned. Like, if I was ever to say something that's like really acceptable, I just think I'd be lying to myself. It ain't my true thoughts or the truth that I need to say. If I can't be truthful and honest with people, I just can't. I'm quiet. That's the best policy.
Right, but usually quiet is a sign.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's usually a sign that sometimes people tend to overlook, because you could be totally quiet, or you could be quiet when it comes to certain conversations. Like you could have been engaged in a conversation, and once that one that you have decided for yourself that you're not engaging in, and you become quiet, most of the times your partner, family member, child, anybody usually misses that cue.
Yep.
And it happens at work too. So we talking about relationships, but that happens at work too. Like you could have been the one that had all these innovative ideas, and if they continue to be not heard, then you're like, okay, wait a minute. Like, if they not heard, I'm gonna just be quiet. I'm gonna just show up and just do the least, because apparently the least is what is appreciated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or sometimes not even do the least. Just do what my job description spells out, and it can be even less than the least.
Right.
That's me. I'm the one that I get quiet, and it's not submissive.
It's definitely
and
not submissive.
And I don't think it can be interpreted that once they see the actions. I get quiet, but I'm planning.
Exit strategy in effect.
Yes.
Right.
I am making a plan. I'm doing some problem solving in my head when I'm being quiet.
I would agree with that.
And or recognizing the purpose of that employment, because yes, I need to be quiet because I need this X dollars to invest into my business, or I'm getting a house and I need to show a W-2 employee. And you begin to reframe what it is that the purpose of that relationship is. And you could do that to an external relationship, but you would also do that to an interpersonal relationship too.
Yes.
And in no way am I encouraging divorce or separation, but sometimes when the partner becomes quiet, that yes, there's some other things that's being plotted. And sometimes it could be related to you all staying together or not, or it could really just be, I got to get out of this job so that I can show up more effectively in my home. So it don't have to always be that you chucking up the deuces.
Right.
If the job's not loyal.
What'd you say? These hoes ain't loyal.
No, I said jobs.
Same thing.
Same thing, right?
Same thing.
Additional words. I said
These
jobs.
hoes ain't loyal.
Oh, but that's one of my favorite songs. These hoes ain't loyal.
Mine too. It used to be somebody's ringtone. These hoes ain't loyal. Let me just get what it is I need real quick.
But when you say interpersonal, like
Ooh,
on the
she said
inside,
when menopause hit.
oh,
That's a whole show in itself.
don't forget premenopause.
Listen, that's a whole
Thing
that's a whole show in and of itself.
Yes.
We might have to kick off 2022 with that.
That would be a good topic. I was asking when you're talking about like it being on the inner piece and like the separation of doing something different, not so much like tossing the deuces, but making changes. Not a time limit, but what do you see people like evolve quickly, or it's like pacing of
I think
making
I've seen
that change?
both.
Both, okay.
Yeah, I've seen both. Good night, Liz.
Bye, Liz. Have a good night.
You know, that's the Caribbean way of saying hello.
Mm-hmm.
Good night. So we talking about pacing?
Well, just the pacing of doing this type of work inner, not dealing with like anybody else, separating from them, but just like the inner workings of changing things and planning, and then how it affects other people. I feel like it's a make or break.
I think there are some people.
Indirectly.
I think there are some people who are so ready, you know, that they make changes quickly. They take the skills that you give them, they put them into action, they're practicing. And then you have the other people who say they want help, but when you see them in the next session, hey, did you do the homework? No, I didn't have time. I had to do X, Y, Z. And of course, that's going to take longer. It's a longer process.
Because they don't want to look in that mirror. They don't want to put that mirror up to them, or they worried about the impact of them choosing to do something different, how they're going to be seen. Or respected, or they're not gonna like me anymore. I be like, okay, which version of therapy you want me to be today? You want me the street version or the professional? Because who the front door cares?
Yes.
Like somebody said, it's better to be respected than liked.
You would be surprised at how many people cannot go through their life feeling like other people don't like them.
Right?
Really?
Yes.
Not you. Not you.
Yes.
Not you, Camp. Terrence, definitely. You know exactly what I was getting ready to say. They do too. They do too. But I'm trying to be nice tonight.
Yes. Many people.
Maybe I should ask people, do you care to be liked?
Camp, no, don't ask him that. Because your response to what they say is not what they probably gonna need. So how you doing your earring right there? Yeah, you already loading up. You already putting a download of what it is you gonna say to them. Like,
no, but I think that's a really good question for like friends and stuff, and just people that you like come in contact with like this in your inner circle. Because sometimes, you know how you can say something or like that. Okay, so just talking about this codependency and support, like when a friend is going through something and they're looking for their girlfriends or their inner circle, whoever it may be, to give them advice or suggestions. And I'm like, well, they may feel like you're judging them if you tell them one thing or one way, because they're dependent. What they do is dependent of the consensus of the group, of their inner circle.
Right.
So at that point, I'm just like, and they're like, oh, like if you say something, oh, you're taking the other person's side. You don't like me. So I don't know. I just think that's a good question I never thought about. But yeah.
That's and I find it interesting how many people will tell you, I don't care what people think of me, or I don't care if people like me. But when we start digging down,
right,
they care. Right.
They care.
They care 1,000,000%.
Yes.
And I need you to help me to continue to care about what it is that they say. And I'm like, I might not be the therapist for you. No client of mine ever likes when I say that. I'd be like, well, I might not be the therapist for you. We breaking up, Miss May?
Because they like you. They wanna stay with you.
Listen, I want to stay with them too if they're gonna do real authentic work. But
I get it.
if we just following the rules, then I might not be the right person for you to do that journey, because I'm a rule breaker. So that you can live your life authentically.
So yeah, that's where I can see the codependency on the therapist.
Right. I mean, so even helping people to recognize that, okay, we've worked through what we needed to work through, and now we need to, kind of
Split.
Not split. I would never say it like that. See, that's why you can't ask certain questions. I would, actually allow them to make that decision, because I'm going to put the pivot your way. I'm going to ask you, in what ways from where we were when we started to where we are now, what do you think about them? And then they're going to share. And then I'm going to say, okay, well, what do we still need to do? And either they can think about what it is that we need to do, or they can say, oh my God, I made more progress than I thought.
But for me, that's not, when I say certain things, I don't feel like it's always like in my head. It can go either way. Not really necessarily negative.
But it's not the way you say it, though.
I know. It's just moving on. You're just moving on to the next level, whatever you need.
Camp, I've been in conversations with you. You ask those type of questions, and then if they don't answer them in a certain way, you move on and be like, yeah, I don't want to hear nothing else you got to say. Let's talk about something else.
I think I'm better now.
You might be. It depends on what color glasses you got on. You got the red sparkly tonight. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got anything else we need to cover? Oh no, I'm sorry. Let me not do that.
What?
We was reading Terrence's comment. I didn't want to.
Okay.
No, too much empathy in the world today to be honest, real, or truthful.
I think that it's how, so even I'm talking about how Camp says different stuff. We need to be honest and truthful, because it's just how you have to know the person and know the capacity that you're not breaking them.
Right.
And how honest and truthful that you are, and that you kind of scale it up the way that it's going to be best received. Because sometimes people could take it in a one shot of tequila, or sometimes they need something else before they get to tequila. Like they need Kool-Aid, then they need green tea,
and another chaser,
and another chaser.
And they need a cooler first. Something light.
Yeah, something light. Then maybe like a rum punch or a rum runner. Maybe a couple of those. Maybe a Long Island iced tea, and then maybe a shot of tequila will work. But they can't just go right the shot of tequila. And that's what I be thinking of. You can't. I be thinking you be going right for the shot of tequila, and you don't go through all the other stages of the beverages before they get there.
I think sometimes, depending on who it is, it may not go through those stages, because it's like you'll say something light, like you get to the point, but it's like, so what do you mean? You explain. So what do you mean? In which way? And then they start to get defensive, or they start taking a certain way and feel offended. And you're like, no, that's not what I meant. So sometimes with some people, you just got to say what it is, like all the way, like the juggler. And they're like, oh, okay. So it just depends on the person, I think.
There you go with that earring again.
Yeah, because I've been thinking, like, when I'm talking to people, a lot of times it's I do a lot more talking than I used to. Like, in terms of actually having conversations and going back and forth. And just really, like, it's not just about your own perspective, but looking at other people's perspective and how it applies to you directly, indirectly, and how you want them to play, and how they play a part in your life, whether it's day-to-day, work. So I think that's important. To really look at who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
I mean, yeah, you have those few people. I shouldn't say few people. You have those people who want the shot. Like, just give it to me.
Give it to me. No chaser. No lemon.
That's me.
Give it to me. Yes.
Yeah.
But you're right. You have to know your audience.
You do.
And I think going straight to going straight to it sometimes saves you the extra like heartache and stuff and the pain and the hurt, because you're still, sometimes somebody can tell you something and you're still wondering and you're not getting the full picture of what they're really saying. Because sometimes people say, oh, I need this, I want this, but it's the opposite. Or they're not really saying what it is.
So because they think if they say what it is, then you might not like them no more, and they can't risk that.
Yeah, I see that. But it's not,
which is a lot of dancing back and forth. Like,
yes.
Nobody got time for that song to be on repeat that many times.
Right. And then I think sometimes if they feel like that they go straight to the chaser, that they tell you what it is, you're gonna make a decision that they may not like. You make a decision that's best for you and what you need to do to get better and whatever it is in life. So I just, it's a tough one. It's a balance.
It is. It is. So, ladies, we lost our gent, but we have definitely some liveliness in our comments. Thank you, Terrence, for my belated birthday situations. And thank you for joining our conversation this evening. Ladies, do you have any closing comments?
Just knowing that you're crossing into the line of codependency when you start to notice that you're losing your individuality. And you're either not allowed, or even if you say to yourself, I've decided not to think for myself. Did you really decide that, or is that how this is shaking out? Because people will rationalize.
You have to shake it out.
Hey, shake it out. Because people will rationalize all the time and tell you this is what they like. Or
they always wanted to do this.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So, realize that, okay, even if you decided that this is how you like it, reevaluate. Just take a look at it.
Right.
Just take a look.
Right. Camp?
I was just saying, try to, when you sit back and look in the mirror, try to recognize what the triggers are of why you're being codependent. And try to just like take your time, pace your pacing, and break cycles, whether it's family or friendships or in whatever direction it's coming from. I think that you take stock and whether you become a better person or not, that's relative, but take stock in terms of like what type of life you want to live on a day-to-day basis. I think that's important, especially now.
Very true.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I think creating a balance so that one, your definition of support, whatever word you put as an adjective before it, that is clear, and that you're not being an enabler, and that you recognize that trauma happens, as adults, and we get scarring as adults that has probably been shaped from the childhood, but you have to recognize when your boundaries are being crossed and knowing how to be authentic in that space so that you can not necessarily go, not fall into it being always codependency in your work, as a parent, as a spouse, anybody, and being able to just recognize, how it is that, that you choose to live differently. So
thanks, Neil.
Thank you.
Thank you. She hit us all. She was like, boom, boom, boom. So thank you all.
One last word.
Okay.
It's okay to have boundaries.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes. Pass the offering plate on them boundaries.
Yes. It's okay.
Get a stick or a broom.
Absolutely. So thanks for rocking it out with us. We have next week to rock it out, and then we will take our 2-week break, celebrating the close of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to forget 21. And definitely if there's any topics, I know one kind of flew through the room this evening. Yes, I was just going to say that, Ruth. One of the ones kind of flew through this evening in regards to what 2022 topics that you want. So I see this one. Boundaries are good and menopause and free. Yes. I will try to keep my notes handy so that I can make note of them. But please feel free to reach out to any of us and however you know us. And we'll see you next week.
Great. Good night.
Bye.
It's been real. Daryl, what happened to you?